Hi, it's Hope and welcome to the video. This video, as the title says, is going to be me talking about the series that I need to complete because they are already completed series, or series that I need to catch up on before the next book gets released. So I'm just going to jump right in and start off with the Shatter Me series. And the Shatter Me series is about a girl named Juliet whose touch is lethal, and she is prisoned for that, and she ends up being recruited by the Reestablishment, which is like a military operation, to be like a weapon, and the story goes from there. I've read Shatter Me, Destroy Me, Unravel Me, Fracture Me, and Ignite Me. And I still need to read Restore Me, Shadow Me, Defy Me, Reveal Me, and Imagine Me. So I'm halfway through the series. I'm loving it. I'm kind of wanting to pick up Restore Me now, but I'm like barely through my TBR at this point, so I can't really. Next, we have the Something Dark and Holy series, which the first book is Wicked Saints, which I've read, and this series follows, first we follow a girl named Nadia who grew up in this monastery, and she and her people of her country have these powers gifted to them through the gods. And then we follow Seraphim, who his country is at war with Nadia's country, and Seraphim has this blood magic, and the war between their countries is because of these different magic types. And when Seraphim's country attacks Nadia's monastery that she grew up in, she ends up fleeing and meeting up with these people who she isn't sure that she should trust, and they suggest that let's go and kill Seraphim's father, who is the king of the country that Seraphim's from, and we go from there. It is a very dark series. I need to read Ruthless Gods, which is the second book in the series, before the finale, the final book in the series, Less Monsters, comes out in April? I think it's April. So that one is one that I don't need to catch up for a little while, but yeah. Next we have the Saga series by Brian K. Vaughan, and this is a series of graphic novels, and I have read the first 3, and then I have to read the last 6, but there will be more eventually released in the future. And this series is about 2 people from the opposite sides of a galactic war who come together, fall in love, have a baby, and then are on the run from their respective sides because they had a child and are married and all of that. First 3, good. I need to continue with the series. Next we have the Wayward Children series by Shanan and McGuire. I've read the first 3, which are Every Heart a Doorway, Down Among the Sticks and Bones, and Beneath a Sugar Sky, and I still have to read In an Absent Dream and Come Tumbling Down before Across the Green Grass Field comes out in January. And the Wayward Children series is a series of novellas that are about these kids that go to this school called Eleanor West's Home for Wayward Children, and it's a school that takes in kids after they've gone into these like worlds and then come back, and the whole point of the school is to either rehabilitate them back into society or try to help them find the doors, and all of that. And each series is its own story, but they all weave into each other. So you can honestly pick up any book, because they all follow basically different narratives, like different narrators. So if you pick up the third book, yeah, it will spoil the first book, but not explain everything that happened. It'll just be like, oh yeah, this happened before, type thing. So again, that's a series that I need to catch up by like January. Next we have the Shades of Magic series by V.E. Schwab. So it starts off with A Darker Shade of Magic, which is about a boy named Kel, who is one of the last like magicians in his world. And with his magic, he has the ability to open portals, I guess, to these different worlds, to do like different things. And there are like 4 worlds, and all of that. I'm horrible at explaining the series, but I still need to read A Gathering of Shadows and A Conjuring of Light, which I'm kind of excited to read those. I'm like, I'll push them back. I'll read them probably in a few months. But next we have the Ravencycle series by Maggie Stiefvater, and the first book is The Raven Boys, which this is going to be an awful explanation, but we have a girl named Blue whose mother is a psychic, and every year there is this thing that happens at this church that it makes it so that people that are seers, which are typically psychics, can see the ghosts of people that are going to die within the next year in their area. And this year, Blue's aunt does this ceremony, and Blue's job is to basically write down all the names. But when Blue ends up seeing a boy, since she's not a seer, that means that that boy is either her one true love or she will kill him. That boy's name is Gainsey, and Gainsey and his friends are called the Raven Boys, and they are on this mission to find this mythical king that's supposed to be like some type of like legend type thing, and Gainsey is focused on trying to get that, and then Gainsey and Blue's path cross, and it kind of goes from there. And then the second book is The Dream Thieves. The third book is, and I have read The Dream Thieves. The third book is Blue, Lily, Lily, Blue. And then the fourth book in the series is The Raven King, and if I'm not mistaken, there's also a like spin-off series of this. I can't remember what it's called, but I think there is. Don't quote me on that. The next series, I guess, is the Montague siblings. And the first book in the series is A Gentleman's Guide to Vice and Virtue, which we follow Monty, who is getting ready to go on this trip to see Europe in the year, it's in like the 1700s, with his best friend Percy, who he is also in love with, and his sister Felicity, and they go on this trip, and Monty does something stupid that ends up making them need to go on the run and all of that. And then the second book is A Lady's Guide to Petticoats and Piracy, which is about Monty's sister Felicity. And then the third book, called A Nobleman's Guide to Secrecy and Shipwrecks, I think I have that right, comes out, I don't know, I'm hearing 2 different dates. I'm hearing December, but then I've also heard someone be like, oh, it got pushed back to April. I'm not sure. I need to do more research on that, but I'm not going to worry about that much. And then next we have Timekeeper by Tahereh, and this is the first book in the series. Well, I guess kind of all the books in the series, but this series is about a boy named Danny who fixes clock towers. And clock towers in this world can cause time to fracture and stop and stop an area entirely. So when Danny is set out to fix this clock tower, things kind of go from there, and all of that. And this is set in a, like, I think it's 1875, like, London, in, it's like a steampunk kind of style world. But the sequels are Chainbreaker and Firestarter, which I need to read because I've only read Timekeeper. I keep on continuing with this series for some reason, but I'm like, why? Idiot. Next, we have the Heroes of Olympus series by Riordan, and I'm trying to figure out how to explain this because there's like 2 first books in the series. But this series is about the children of the Greek and Roman gods having to kind of come together to fight this bigger threats. If you haven't heard of, like, Riordan and his works, are you living under a rock? Honestly. But there's The Lost Hero and The Son of Neptune, which I have read. I'm currently reading the Mark of Athena. I'm like 60% through it, I think, at this point. But then there's also The House of Hades and The Blood of Olympus, which I obviously haven't read because I'm currently only reading the 3rd one. Next we have The Darkest Mind by Alexandra Bracken, and this series takes place after there's this illness that scours the country of kids, and kids die. But the kids that live end up with these abilities that range from, like, just extra smarts or to, like, mind control. And we follow a girl named Ruby who has that mind control ability, which is, like, the baddest of the bad. And she ends up escaping from this camp that all the kids were forced into, and she goes on the run and meets up with some people, and they keep on trying to escape and all that. And that's a bad explanation, but first book is The Darkest Minds. The second book is Never Fade. The third book is In the Afterlight, and then the fourth book is The Darkest Legacy, which I don't have. I currently have In the Afterlife is currently coming to me in the mail. So obviously I haven't read it if I don't have it. But yeah. And then finally, I believe this is all the series that I have started, or at least the ones I wanted to talk about, but is a selection series by Kiera. This selection is about this competition between 35 girls to win Prince Maxen's heart and be his wife, and we follow our main character America, who enters this competition kind of on whim and ends up getting accepted in the competition, and it's about her fighting 34 other girls for Prince Maxen. And then the following books are The Elite and The One, which I have read, and then there's it's technically a kind of more of a spin-off of the series, which is The Heir and The Crown, which are about, spoiler, which these are about Maxen and America's daughter going through the competition. I'm not really that excited to read these because I've heard very bad things, especially about The Crown. So yeah, those are the series that I have started and I need to finish. There might be more series that I have started that I can't think of, but I think all of the other series that I have started, the rest of the books aren't out yet, I believe, or I just didn't want to mention them because I technically have the Harry Potter series started, but I don't really want to talk about those on this channel, because we don't support J.K. Rowling on this channel. So yeah, I think that's the only other series which I don't really want to talk about. So I hope you enjoyed this video. This was kind of more or less like a filler video of I don't know what to film, but I have this list of things for my own use, so why not make a video of it to maybe look back on at the end of the year and be like, so how many of these did you finish and how many more series did you start? Because for how many more series did you start? Probably a lot. I might actually do this, look back on this video in like 6 months and see, who knows? Who knows what I'll be doing in 6 months? Who knows what I'll be doing in 2 months? But I hope you enjoyed this video, and bye!